Presidential Election Tribunal to deliver judgment live on Wednesday. Federal government to meet labor leaders over planned strike. DSS raises alarm over plot to stage violent protest, identifies ringleaders. Away from Nigeria, South Africa says no evidence of arms shipment to Russia following inquiry. These are the headlines on Trust TV News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for joining. Presidential Election Petition Court is set to deliver judgment on Wednesday in the petitions the emergence of Bola Tinubu as winner of the February 25 presidential election. The Court of Appeal, in a statement signed by its registrar, Umar Bangari, confirmed this on Monday, saying that the proceedings will be open to live broadcast by interested television stations. The Labour Party, the People's Democratic Party and the Allied People's Movement, as well as their presidential candidate, had petitioned the tribunal seeking to nullify the election of President Bola Tinubu as the winner of the 2023 presidential election. Judgment is also being expected at governorship election tribunals in 25 states, National Assembly and State Assembly elections petitions. Meanwhile, the federal government says it has scheduled a meeting with leaders of the organized labor on Monday to avert the looming strike action in the country. Minister of Labour and Employment Simon Lalong, who stated this during an ongoing press briefing, explained that he had not met with the labor leaders because he did not get adequate brief from relevant departments before now. Lalong appealed to the leadership of both the Trade Union Congress and the Nigerian Labour Congress to prevail on all its affiliate unions to shelve their scheduled two-day warning strike and a planned total shutdown in 21 days. Nigerian Labour Congress in Niger State had accused the Umar Bago-led administration of excluding the civil servants and pensioners from the 5 billion naira palliative. The state chairman of the NLC, Idris Abdul Karim, and that of the Trade Union Congress, Ibrahim Gana, in Mina on Monday, rejected the 110 million naira announced by the governor as palliative for industrial unions, saying that exclusion of pensioners and civil servants had triggered tension and fear of negative effects on the working class. The organized labor directed all civil servants and pensioners across the state to boycott the distribution committee, demanding that 50,000 naira be paid directly to accounts of each of the civil servants and retirees in the state for 6 months, while payee be suspended until further review of minimum wage.
I totally reject not the amount, even the idea of giving organized labor palliative instead of the generality of our members. We are not rejecting the amount of per se. We are saying if they shouldn't give us palliative as organized labor, they should give our members. That is what we are saying. So that is why we reject the gesture of giving organized labor palliative. We said the Niger State government seeking of out. We made mention, and they gave 3 days holiday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for distribution. And we said we are not. They didn't include us. They didn't include the working class in the whole idea of palliative. Well, we are guided by a constitution, rules and regulations regarding the conduct of labor activities. So any member found wanting, we will go to the house, and the house will take a definite stand on the punishment measures they will take against that erring individual. On the strike generally, organized labor represents a certain sector of the society. And over the years, we have also included the masses of Nigeria that are also affected by this subsidy removal. So already, when we call off the other strike, there were some silent agreement that if that agreement had been implemented, we could have gone out of this issue we are suffering from. Then, unfortunately, the federal government did not implement even one of the agreements earlier reach.
The Department of State Services says it has uncovered plans by some elements in parts of the country to stage violent protests to discredit the federal government and security agencies over sundry socio-economic matters. The agency's spokesman, Peter Afunayan, raised the alarm in a statement on Monday, but said that the DSS had identified the ringleaders of the plot. He said the secret police instructed tertiary institution heads and vice-chancellors of universities to prevent their students from taking part in actions that could disrupt public peace. Now, the DSS further stated that parents and guardians are required to caution their children and wards to resist the temptation to engage in unlawful behavior or conduct. It warned that it won't hesitate to take legal action against the people and groups responsible for the sneaky schemes. Now, following the implementation of the removal of subsidy by President Bola Tinubu on May 29, communities in Borno State, northeast Nigeria, have been experiencing hard times as prices of goods and services have hit rooftop. In this special report, Adamu Ngulde reveals that many residents in Maiduguri have been reacting to the situation, urging the government at all levels to come to their aid.
Inflation caused by the removal of the fuel subsidy has hit many residents of Borno State in northeast Nigeria very hard. Before President Bola Tinubu announced the implementation of fuel subsidy removal on May 29, Modu Mustapha, a father of 5 who resides in Old Maiduguri, Jere local government area of Borno, explained that he used to spend 50 naira to board a motorcycle from his house to the post office. We are really suffering. I hope the government can look into this and bring a positive shift because it is really not easy. Also, a measure popularly called Mudu of maize in the state, which used the salt for 700 naira, is now sold for 1,600, a development that has made it increasingly difficult for him to provide for his family. I can't afford to buy what I used to buy before. My income remains the same despite the high cost of living. I am just thankful for having an understanding family despite not able to care for all their needs. The price of petrol removed from 194 per litre to over 600 naira. Among those deeply affected by the ripple effect of the fuel price hike are parents, students, schools, market women, and motorists. The constant fuel price hike has made it increasingly challenging for transport operators to sustain our businesses, causing financial strain and desperation. In a bid to mitigate the challenges faced by citizens, Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has raised the number of beneficiaries from 300,000 to 400 households. The governor stated that this is a result of the 5 billion presidential initiative received by the state from the federal government to alleviate the hardship and sufferings among people of the state. Professor Ibrahim Umara is an economic expert, advised the government at all levels.
If the government will come up with an alternative of supplying the crude oil either to Dangote, Kaduna, Wari or Fatako refineries, that this is going to be for domestic consumption, they will refine it and then the price will reduce back either at least just to 250 naira and it will be affordable.
The Kaduna State Governor Obasani on Sunday directed security agencies to thoroughly investigate the reported killing of worshippers in a mosque in Ikara local government area of the state by bandits. Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Muhammad Shehu, said this in a statement describing the incident as wicked and barbaric. The Governor vowed to go to any length within the law to bring the Ikara bandits to book. The government, he said, it will not rest on its oars until peace and stability is restored to every part of Kaduna State. Governor Sani, according to Shehu, has sent a delegation led by Samuel Aruwan, overseer of the Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, to condole the people of Sayasaya village, Ikara local government area, where the incident occurred. The delegation will also carry out an assessment of the security and humanitarian situation in the area and advise government appropriately. 51 cases of poliovirus variants were recorded in Nigeria from January to August this year, with Zamfara State having 21 cases. Out of these numbers, because of the insecurity making it difficult for health workers to access those troubled communities to administer the polio vaccination, has raised concern to stakeholders. Now, our reporter in this special report seeks to know the efforts of relevant stakeholders to reach those difficult-to-reach communities and curb the poliovirus variants in Zamfara State.
Banditry in Zamfara State has not only crippled economic activities, but also impacted on healthcare service delivery negatively, as some rural communities are inaccessible to health workers to provide essential services like administering polio vaccination to children. This resulted in a resurgence of polio cases, with 21 cases of polio variants recorded in the state. This is responsible for the spread of the poliovirus variants in some neighboring states.
Some of your people that do this vaccination, sometimes you find that they don't even make record of the vaccination. How many times are they supposed to do? What time have they done it? What time again they will do it and they will do it? Sometimes they cannot enter those villages. They used to go and dig a hole and put that vaccination. They will come back and say, yes, we vaccinated everybody.
Nura Madadun is a father of 10 children, and he does not see anything wrong in allowing his children to receive the polio vaccination.
My mom, she told me since 40 years, she take me and hospital to vaccinate me. So why now I have 2 wives and 10 children? And all my children, they vaccinate. They do well, they have well, they go to school, and then the brain is very wide.
An official of Zamfara State Healthcare Board, Kabiru Danja, speaks on effort being made to ensure that every child is vaccinated against the poliovirus variant and no one should be left behind in the state.
The attitude of health personnel, definitely we have to change our attitude. We are appealing them, let them fear God. If government is not seeing you, the government that are paying you, are giving you salary for that work, and even incentive, are not seeing you. The Almighty God is seeing you. So you shouldn't say that I have gone to social settlement, which is not true. You are denying the right of those children who you refuse to go and school.
Both Sanusi Usman and Kabiru Danja urged personnel who have been saddled with the responsibility of administering the polio vaccination to strive and ensure that they give every child and maintain accurate record keeping of houses and numbers of children that received vaccination in each community.
10th Annual Blood Drive Initiative in Kano State is targeting 100 liters blood donation to patients in need across public hospitals of the state. The initiative is aimed at alleviating blood scarcity across public hospitals and bridging the hardship faced by caregivers and patients in need. The initiative also keeps donors' community record for further requests for a particular blood group when the need arises from any hospital, while the Kano Hub is a part of a wide-reaching network across 148 countries.
Global Shepherds Community in itself is a community of young people brought together by the World Economic Forum in order to influence changes that need to be impacted in their communities. So it's a way of self-organizing and looking at immediate problems in our community and bringing a solution out of it. This year our target is 70 to 100 pints of blood, even though we might have an inflow that is more than that of 70 to 100 people.
If the blood is going to match and I can donate, I can do that. And Alhamdulillah, I was able to go to the hospital, do the test. That's okay. Inshallah, whenever there's any blood donation, I'll try as much as possible to give.
There is always a person in need, a person that needs blood to save their lives. And I feel like since this is like an initiative or a movement that comes up once in a while, more like once in a year, so if it's happening and you feel like you can donate or you can bring a friend or family to donate, that you don't know who you are helping, you don't know who you're saving, and you don't know how this good deed is going to come back to you.
It helps in lowering or rather regulating blood pressure. As we know, our society is full of people suffering from high blood pressure. So if we get to donate your blood from time to time, at least once in 6 months, so it will help reduce the risk of having high blood pressure, and as well it will reduce the level of cholesterol in your body, which indirectly it helps your heart to.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we take a look at why Jos farmers are returning to groundnut cultivation. Details and more after the break. Welcome back. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. A look at the top stories again. Presidential Election Tribunal to deliver judgment live on Wednesday. Federal government to meet labor leaders over planned strike. In other news, harsh economic realities, absence of love and changes in behavioral patterns are responsible for abandonment of families in recent times. In Asaba, Jonathan Awanyai seeks to identify the immediate causes and the negative consequences of the trending action.
Shelter is one of the basic needs of life. In Asaba, Delta State capital, residents have lamented that rent is exorbitant and way out of reach of the poor, thus making it difficult to access its essential needs. Residents who spoke with Trust TV opined that the low-income earners and even the middle class struggle to secure decent apartments. They also expressed dismay that most of the housing estates built by government were for the rich, as no civil servant in the state could afford them, while blaming the estate agents for being responsible.
Too much. Like, I feel that government should look into it, because Asaba is a civil servant area. It's not, there's no big company or maybe oil company in the city or anything. It's just normal hustling. So sometimes the landlord, they will be looking for a responsible person in their house, but there's no responsible that can pay such amount of money. Like a civil servant that is earning around maybe 100,000 or 80,000 a month. How can that person afford a house of 1.5 million naira? So it's on the high side. So I think the government should look into it. So
these boys called Yahoo boys. These boys, they have the money. So somebody who is a civil servant, because Asaba is a civil servant town, somebody who's a civil servant may be pricing this particular thing for 250. A Yahoo boy will just come, say, Papa, just give me 800, I will pay, no problem. So with that now, who doesn't like good thing? So landlords aim these people, and with that, the cost of building is very, very high. The cost of rentage is very, very high in Asaba. And I think government needs to do something, maybe by regulating the price or anything, if it's possible.
For the increase in house rents, the tenants called on landlords to consider the economic hardship bedeviling the country. They urged the state government to intervene in the housing sector to address the rising cost of rents in the state capital.
We are calling on the government to regulate the cost of house rent in Asaba so that it becomes affordable for the people.
Questions goes to the agents who parade themselves as agents, because landlord will put house for 200,000, they will make it 500,000, and they will say agency fee, caution fee, landlord agreement, this and this, all the packages they will just bring it together. It's here. This Asaba is a civil servant town.
Farmers in Jingir town of Bassa local government area of Plateau State have explained why they are gradually returning to groundnuts farming after years of abandonment. The farmers told Trust TV's Ado Musa that low price in the past was a major factor that discouraged farmers from going into groundnut cultivation.
In 1960s, groundnut pyramids were built in northern Nigerian cities such as Kano, where groundnut production was a major contributor to the economy. However, as groundnut production declined in the 1970s and 1980s, the groundnut pyramid disappeared and Nigerian economy shifted attention to crude oil. Farmers in Jingir say groundnut production declined in the past because of certain factors, but huge potential is now motivating them to return to the cultivation of groundnut. Before now, farmers abandoned groundnut cultivation because it wasn't lucrative, but today they are gradually returning to it. This is so because the few people that remain in the business are getting good money, and the high cost of fertilizer, which prevent many people from going to maize farming, has also led many farmers to return to groundnut cultivation, which doesn't require fertilizer or much resources. Asked if groundnut cultivation is now profitable, some farmers answer in the affirmative. Groundnut cultivation is profitable now. Before now, it was abandoned because it wasn't profitable. But today, many are venturing into it due to the money that they are making from such farming. It is a cultivation that you cannot spend much, and if you are lucky, you harvest much. Groundnut cultivation is profitable because groundnut farmers live averagely. During the early harvest this year, we sold a 50 kg at 20,000 naira, even though the price has come down now. No matter the situation, groundnut farmers hardly lose. The farmers hope that agriculture will be given appropriate attention so that the country could return to groundnut pyramid of 1960s. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
And away from Nigeria, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says an independent inquiry has found no evidence for claims that his country supplied weapons to Russia. The United States ambassador to South Africa, Ruben Bregetti, had claimed that the Russian ship Lady R was loaded with arms and ammunition at a naval base near Cape Town last December. The inquiry found that the Russian cargo ship instead delivered armaments that had been ordered for the South African National Defense Force in 2018. Ramaphosa said that the allegation had a most damaging effect on the country's currency, economy, and standing in the world. Ramaphosa said that he would only be releasing an executive summary of the report due to security considerations. South Africa's Foreign Ministry later said that Bregetti had apologized for his comments, and the U.S. diplomat subsequently wrote on social media that he was grateful for the opportunity to correct any misimpressions left by his public remarks. Now, in sports news, Lithuania and Latvia make up for just 0.06% of the world's population, but their basketball teams make up 25% of the top 8 teams in FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023. Lithuania were the talk of the town with their win over the United States, while Latvia made waves with their win over the France in the first round and another 2 over Brazil and Spain in the second round. The yellow-green ones from Lithuania have made Mall of Asia Arena their home since day one of the competition in Manila. Now they will get another shade of color because the unreal support of Latvian fans is moving from Jakarta to Manila for the final phase this week. And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.